Okay guys, so this is the piece of polystyrene that I'm going to try and cut up and use for my base for the anti-aircraft gun. I'll let you know how I get on. Okay guys, so I've managed to get the base done, so on to doing the walls. Okay guys, so the emplacement for the anti-aircraft gun is complete. Well, it's complete in construction. Obviously I've got to cover it and paint it and weather it, but I had one or two issues where I didn't cut the joins particularly well. I've had to use some filler to fill parts of it. This step that I've introduced wasn't part of the initial design. There was supposed to be a wall coming off here and then coming back, so that they actually came, the crew actually came through here and walked up, but I decided in the end just to add a step, so that's a bit of balsa wood to give that. So the, if you like, the front of the emplacement is over here, and this will be the back. So I'll just put the gun on it so you get an idea of how it will sit. So something like that. It's just big enough so that the barrel turns within the perimeter, well, almost turns within the perimeter of the emplacement, which I think is about right. I'm not 100%. So there we go. So that's the latest on that, and I'll add some more in a bit. So here it is guys, here is the final reveal for my first entry into the D-Day community build. And of course this is doubling as an appreciation build to Greg Reilly. Quite a bit has happened to this build since the last video, or the last part of this video. As you can see, all the paint's on there, and the weathering and the figures are all done and it's all complete, whereas it was just, the emplacement at least was just white polystyrene when we last looked at it. I have a love-hate relationship with dioramas. I love to see what other people produce. I love the idea of doing a diorama. Unfortunately I hate doing them. The people out there like Greg and Mike Cohen and Hamilcar Barkus, who can produce fantastic dioramas, they just, you know, they do inspire, but I just get a bit annoyed with myself when I can't quite get their level. But then it's practice, isn't it? At the end of the day, it's like everything in our hobby. But it's, I think the time spent building dioramas is, I don't see as, for me personally, is time well spent. I'd rather be building other kits and so on. So anyway, let's have a bit of a look at what I've done here. So basically I used tile grout to cover the whole of the structure, and whilst it was still wet I put a thin metal rule into these sections to try and give the idea of the formwork for the concrete. So once that was dry, I then just mixed black and white paint and made a light grey, and then obviously painted the whole of it. Once that was dry I gave it a coat of clear, and then once that was dry I gave it a sludge wash of black. The finishing touches to the actual emplacement was the addition of some sand in the sides, so to make it look like it's on the Atlantic wall and the sand's collecting inside parts of the emplacement. It was very bright though. You can see that it's almost a yellow, and so I toned that down a bit with, or tried to at least in parts, with some dark earth pigments, both of them from Humbrol. They were just dust, which I just brushed on into the recesses there. The step, the balsa wood step that you recall from earlier in the video, that was painted in Games Workshop colours, the deep brown, then a lighter brown, and then an even lighter one, just highlighting where the crew would have walked up and down. If I just stop it once it comes round again, and we can have a look at the crew. Now the highlight of this build for me has got to be the crew. Just adding those little details like the shoulder flashes, the insignias on the lapels, the Luftwaffe eagle, obviously picking up the belt buckle and so on. It just, for me at least, brought these figures to life, and I think the focus for me is more on them than it is on the actual anti-aircraft gun. The gun was a nice kit to build, and I think I've mentioned before, no real issues in doing that. The camo pattern, if I can just turn it around slightly, the camo pattern on this, what I tried to do was get a thin red brown and thin green lines on it, and then to try and just tone that down a bit, I put a wash over of clear with just some of the dark yellow in it to try and mute the colour a bit so it wasn't so stark. And then after that I added a panel line wash, not so much a sludge wash. I haven't done much highlighting on the actual anti-aircraft gun. I left it at that stage really. So the only thing I did do, which you can't see from this view, is I just dry brushed some bolt gun metal on the tray, so it looks as if the shells have been slid across and taken the paintwork off. So that's basically it. As I say, my first entry, and again for me the most enjoyable part was the figures, then the actual anti-aircraft gun, and then finally the emplacement. I've got to be honest, although I'd got three other dioramas in mind for this group build, I'm kind of wondering whether I will do another one. I've done an entry and so supported the group build. I may do. You may see another entry video soon, but for the moment I think I want to concentrate on the all at sea group build, and there's been a new appreciation build announced for Charlie Mack, and so I want to get in on that. There's the motorcycle group build where I'm going to be building 3 or 4 possibly motorbikes, 1/35 scale World War II motorbikes. So for the I think I'll just I'll leave it at that for the time being, and then perhaps later in the month I'll make an announcement into another entry for this GB. Thanks ever so much for watching. Thank you guys, those of you who subscribe to my channel, I really do appreciate it. Greg, I hope you're happy with this. I hope that I haven't done too bad a job, at least on the figures and the gun. And again guys, thanks for watching, and I'll catch up with you soon.